This is Ask Benton Hardware, and I'm Gary. I want to go back over a problem with wells. I get this a lot. You've got shallow well pumps, which everything's above the ground. You got submersible pumps, which the pump is down in the well. And then you got the deep well above ground pumps, like this, which has the two pipes. And down in the well, they put the jet down in the well to do the pumping action, so you can lift it a long ways. You can't suck water up that high, but you can shove it up there, and that's basically what they're doing with this. These are expensive. These are anywhere from $60 to $100, and a lot of times when people bring them in to me, they're nothing more than just dirty. So I was going to show you the inside of one of these things and how to clean it. I don't have the foot valve on there. That's the only thing that's missing. But what we got in this thing, we got a Ventura tube and we got a jet. And what this pump does, it pumps high pressure water out of the little one down to here, and that high pressure water goes through this body. It goes up through this jet under high pressure. It shoves up this Ventura and it causes a negative, and it sucks water in here through the foot valve, and it goes up around the chamber and is drawn into here. And so the bigger line returns the water that's going down, plus the water is coming up with the excess water. So it's circulating water all the time. It picks up excess water out of this body, carries it up to the pump, and then spins off so much to the house and then keeps so much to recirculate. So a lot of times people don't know if it's the pump or the jet. It's almost always the jet. There's no real way to test the pump. I mean, you could put a standpipe in here and put water in it. You could come out here and put a gauge and just deadhead it and turn it on. If that pump will build anywhere from 70 to 100 psi, the pump's okay. But usually there's nothing wrong with the pump, unless it's so 20 years old or something and it's just wore out. Otherwise, it's usually not the pump. It's this body. And I don't know why they don't make this out of something else like plastic, because it's iron, and if you got a lot of iron in your well, these passageways will get stopped up. You'll have to take the Ventura tube out. You'll have to take the jet out, which deep socket and ratchet will take it out. And then you just literally have to get down inside this thing with a screwdriver both ways, because the passageway is here around this tube up through this body and back into here. And you just got to take a screwdriver and wire brush and whatever you can get in there and just scrub and clean it and knock all that stuff out. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean, as long as it's not caked up and the water can't flow around it. So basically, just taking these things out, clean them. If it's very old, I'll probably change the foot valve, which is a check valve. That keeps the water from running out of the pump while it's priming and getting started up. The only other thing on these pumps here, people don't realize there's another valve in here right off the discharge. This is the discharge. This is the plug you put water in the head so it can prime. It takes quite a bit of water, because when you're not just filling up the head, you're filling up that little pipe all the way down to the bottom. But as it pumps water down to the jet and returns on the bigger line, it's carrying more water on the bigger line than it is on the little line. But it has to constantly circulate. So this valve here is made to close off part of the discharge if it's discharging too much water. You can discharge so much water there isn't any left over to go back down and do the pumping action, which is a continuous action. So you basically close this thing and start opening it up until you see the pressure drop off, and then you back off a little bit and hold it there. But all these pumps do have a valve. If it's not made here, it's made here or something, you know. But that is, that's a critical part that has to be set up. But I mean, that's not this problem, doesn't have anything to do with this problem. That's when you initially set it up. I thought I'd just go ahead and mention that. But anyway, if you've got a pump that is bad and the jet's been there a long time, the price of a jet and a new pump is you can buy a submersible. The nice thing about a submersible is the pump's hanging down in the water. it doesn't have to waste power circulating all that water through that Ventura and pumping up the water. You'll get 3 times the amount of water. Submersible is very simple. It either pumps or it doesn't, basically. You'll have to run a new water line down and a wire for the pump down in the casing. But once you do that, they're more durable and you have less trouble out of them. These are the most trouble that there is, but generally speaking, they're just dirty. I haven't seen one that had a busted orifice or something like that, or crack there. It's just dirt, just iron usually. A lady brought in one the other day and it was just full of gravel. If you get it, you don't want, you know, they're like any other pump. You can get it so low you get it down in the dirt. You don't want to do that. You have to measure how far the ground is from the top and then raise your jet up 10 foot or so. It depends on how much water you got in there. If you got 30 foot, you can put it at 15 foot or whatever you want, you know, as long as you're down low enough that you can't pump it dry. So that's another issue. But generally speaking on these things, when you got an issue, take this thing, clean it up real good. If you don't want to clean it up, I'll sell you a new one. But generally speaking, that has been the problem every time that somebody's had an issue with this type of pumping system, other than the pump. I don't think, usually they know the pump's bad, it won't run, so that's not a problem. But anytime the pump's been running and they've lost water and they can't get water, it's this right here. So anyway, this is going to be a short one today. So if you got any questions, you know, just come in and ask me or call me or bring in the jet. We can clean it right here and see what's going on, and that'll get you back in business.